My role here is to get a view of the Jamaicans' understanding around the Windrush scandal and those who've been affected, to see how they are able to engage, to be compensated. Although at the moment £70 million has been paid out to date, I think we've got more we can do.
This is a small token that myself and family have decided to do. I know the two main persons in African Garden for a long time, and when they tell me about this event, I realize that I have to get involved in a small way, not only by donating and doing this sign, and it's become African Gardens Village, right? And it's the only sign in Jamaica which has the postal code Kingston 7. There's no other sign that has a name on it that you know within Kingston 8, 9 or Kingston 0. Also, I'd like to see what more I can do, because this is a fertile community that can go far and is close-knit. Mama D should be hopefully become the Prime Minister of this area. Yes, not the entire country.
The program itself, or this activity, comes from a much wider program called the Windrush Anchor Heritage Education program. And a festival such as this is just one of the key deliverables. So we're interested in the cultural heritage learning, we're interested in community well-being, we're interested in activities that support young people, and we have a process that looks at young people, community helpers, and what we call Beacon of Hope. And the Beacon of Hope is a program designed to involve primary schools. And we also link primary schools together. So here, Augusttown Primary School is linked with a school called the Kingfisher Hall Academy, which is a primary school in North London. And we also have another school, Grants Pen Primary School. They're from St. Thomas, and they're linked with another school in Enfield called Woodpecker Primary School. So for us then, it's about how do we support young people and work with other, what we call system partners. So for example, the Bring Back the Love Restorative Justice Program. The young people are here playing football, playing netball, and so we're partnering with that organisation as well. And of course they're supported by local organisations like the CDC, SDC and JSIF. So our role is a coordinating role. We handle all the communications. Fresh FM Radio London is our station as well, that ensures that the message goes out across all the diaspora communities in the UK, USA and Canada.
Mm-hmm. And after a message such as that is dispersed, in a sense, right? Mm-hmm. What comes next?
So with this program, it's an ongoing program. So what we focus on is about community economic development. So after this initial festival, we now start to focus on next year's activities, next year's festival. Mm-hmm. So Jamaica has 775 communities across the whole island. Augusttown represents 5 communities. Mesga Gardens, Grants Pen, St. Thomas is a community. So what we're doing is modelling so that for next year's celebrations, that across the whole country, there'll be a lot of collaboration. Focus on Labour Day, so that's about giving, corporate giving, and giving from wherever it may come from. But also it's about bringing communities together. So our focus is really on, we describe as inspiring, inclusive, peaceful, caring, enterprising neighbourhoods and local communities. Because if you're going to get system transformation, you have to start in the neighbourhoods, get communities involved. And so the term that we use is co-designed and co-produced and co-commission. So in other words, you use an event to actually co-design with the beneficiaries. So we're not coming in and doing communities a favour because we have resources. No, the community is part of the thinking as well as part of the delivery, both as a beneficiary on the economic side as well as the cultural side, and of course the community well-being side. So that's the model. Money is not generated from this type of event yet because it's, going back to my point, it's about community development, community capacity building, community enhancement. And you have these types of intervention programs because the communities don't have all those very same things. And if they do, it's not inclusive. But what you have to first do is tap into the energy that exists and the skills that already exist in the community. So it's community building, which takes time. No one event can do it. And it's generational as well. So we're focused on 2030. And the reason being, Jamaica's National Development Plan 2030 and the National Diaspora Policy 2030, they have shared goals, the four shared goals of human potential, security, justice, prosperous economy, and a healthy environment. So from our perspective, it's about getting the systems and the delivery systems working together in a cohesive manner with the community. The change that we want to see from a systems point of view, all of us are part of that system. So the challenge is whether we work in the system or work in the community, how can we collaborate, build trust and cooperate in terms of delivery. So activities like we've got today are about building collaboration, trust and cooperation. And it takes time. There's no instant answer. Because if there was, any government around the world would just be able to do it because they have all the resources, financially at least. But you need human endeavour and potential to make these things work.
So we're here in Augustown.
Yes,
The Windrush 5 Communities Anchor Festival.
that's great.
Right? What's your role here?
Well, actually, my role more is to observe and listen. As most people know, this year is the 75th anniversary of Windrush, where it left Kingston Harbour back in 26th of May 1948, predominantly with ex-troopers who served the British government during the Second World War. But since that period, we are talking about an history of migration, connection, and diaspora linkages and relationships. My role here is to get a view of the Jamaicans' understanding around the Windrush scandal and those who've been affected to see how they are able to engage to be compensated around status and also financial compensation if they have got a genuine entitlement to do so. So I'm here to find out, I'm here to listen, I'm here to gather information that will shape and improve the compensation. Although at the moment £70 million has been paid out to date, I think we've got more we can do. But it's also about breaking barriers and ensuring that the appropriate level of understanding of what the scheme can or cannot do is departed to those who may be affected. So I'm here to hopefully get local communities to have a direct, objective viewpoint and to try and find a way to encourage that dialogue in a more trusted environment. I think the biggest challenge is miscommunication, to be absolutely there. As we know, we generally look to people within our community to download for us certain information that should be important. Well, if that community is not necessarily engaged around what is exactly the process, then you can actually give miscommunication. Typical example, since the scheme was launched properly in 2019, I took over in March 2021. There has been over 2,000 odd Jamaicans that have actually got their status regularised. those that have not been, as far as indefinite leave to remain, at least they have actually found a way where their status has been conveyed, so that gives them the right to be able to engage within services far better than they previously were. But we haven't gone far enough. But that's about creating those boundaries of trust, and that boundary of trust being put in language that people understand, not necessarily language that it detracts from the real reason why the skill is there. This is about ensuring that those who have been denied their legal status and that conveyed, and those that actually have suffered financially, being restored to the correct levity in order that they can get on with their lives.
Have you been able to identify such persons?
I have been told about a few individuals. I only came in yesterday, so you've got to forgive me if I'm perspiring. Is that the climate is a little different from where I've just come from. But I'm hearing about ex-veterans that have served in the military. I've heard about people that have worked in the NHS. So there are a number of calls. So the question for me is, what can we do to ensure that they get the correct information? So working alongside the British High Commission, a number of different agencies, is just making sure that the correct information is there, so that if anybody feels confident to come forward, they know why they're coming forward and what they're to expect. So I'm not here to build expectations, but to be able to say there is a rational, logical system and approach that is now established. So if you feel that you have been in any way denied your legitimate status, or you have been denied financial restitution, a scheme is there that is working. Not just for Jamaicans, but across the Commonwealth. But we're part of that sort of global family that needs to stay in touch. At this moment, those that have come forward, there's been in excess of 17,000 status confirmed, to which 2,791 have been Jamaicans who have had their status as British citizens confirmed on them. There's been 368 that are currently got temporary indefinite leave to remain, and that's still going through. And there is still 387 that have had permanent indefinite leave to remain. Going back to compensation, as I said, there was £70 million as far as the statistics at the end of March that has been offered or paid out. In fact, 60-odd million has been paid out in compensation. And that's been to, and they're not all Jamaicans, but that's been to 2,642 individuals. So it shows the system is working. But a system can only work if people come forward. No system's perfect. But we have got a robust, unique system. How easy it is, my view, is to come and assess it from accessibility, how that communication works. There's been communications in the Gleaner, I know, how our people engage with that. What is it else that they need to do? And for me, gathering that information and seeing what best we can do to improve the system for us.
So the activities taking place today, we've got football, we've got netball, we've got dominoes, we've got marching bands, murals being done, we've got painting, Oxford police station, beautification of the school itself. So there's a wide range of activities. There'll be a lot of fun this afternoon as well. There'll be music, entertainment, actually in African Garden Square.
So how long has this kind of event been going on?
This is the first one,
Okay.
and the reason being is to celebrate Windrush75. The Windrush era is known as Jamaicans who left between 1948 and 1973, basically, and their descendants. So I'm a descendant of that first generation.
And members of your community are also the descendants?
Yeah, which is the second generation. So the first generation is my parents, of course.
Yeah.
Many of them now are going to be in their 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And those who've survived like 101, 102. So my generation, the second generation, mostly born in the UK. Not all, because some came up to the UK when they were like, before 14. So our generation, in fact, that we're grandparents as well now. So really the children of it, of the Windrush generation. And we thought it was important to mark that particular occasion because historically, when Jamaicans have left here, there hasn't been any real indication of who they were, why they left, what they did. And that's what makes this Windrush era very unique, because our generation are able to come back now. And people like myself, a lot of friends, I've been coming to Jamaica for over 30 years. So lots of people who were born in the UK actually live and work in Jamaica quite as happily as being in the UK. So that's why our overall theme is hope, strength and belonging, to reflect the Windrush generation. And this year, because it's Windrush75, we're celebrating the departure of the Windrush ship from Kingston Harbour. But from next year, it will be known to us as Descendants Day, which reflects our generation now, the descendants of the Windrush. And then we'll keep that going to 2030 and do all the activities that support communities.
Even though we're here in Augusttown today, you'll be going across other communities?
Yes, I'm meeting with a number of different communities. I'm also meeting with the different returnees associations to get their views. My job here is really to listen and to learn and to see how that then can translate back into an improved system.
And how can they come in contact with you for these purposes?
At this moment, I don't want to be bombarded with everybody. Maybe jointly through the Gleaner. If there is a contact or a through, then please come to the Gleaner and tell the Gleaner. And through the Gleaner, we will keep a continuous conversation so that we can see what we can do.
There's no quick fix. We didn't get here overnight. It took generations of hope, strength, sacrifice. And our message is we take a united family. So whether you're born here, UK, US, Canada, or wherever you may be born, because Jamaicans travel all over the world. And, so it's obvious there's going to be children from all over the world that can follow their lineage back here to Jamaica and beyond, of course.